Bears in town. We like that. So, what's up?
You a Hoiberg fan?
Oh, yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be way wrong, but I remember growing up, I thought he was at Kemper Arena when it was like Iowa State, Michigan State, Kansas, and somebody else growing up. I thought he was there, maybe a regional or something. I could be wrong. I thought I saw him back then. But anyway.
Is that the kind of thing that can energize your coaching staff here on the football side when they make the move like that?
Well, I mean, obviously we love Coach Miles and everything he did for us, and unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work out. And so, Hoiberg's part of the family now, and, he's going to bring, I think, a really good brand of basketball, and got to go out and recruit and get some more guys and, have a great staff. And so we'll be there to support him, absolutely.
Before the spring, Ryan, you made it pretty clear this was a big spring for Jalen. Obviously for all your running backs, but you mentioned Jalen. How's that worked? How's that looked? How's he done?
I've seen it in spurts. So I've seen things I really like, and then I see things that I don't like. So he has to continue to understand what's happening up front with the blocking scheme. I'd like to see him play lower. I think he runs too high. Mm-hmm. So he's got to, I told him, I used the Roger Craig analogy. He's got to get low and get his knees up and run through the smoke, we call it, through the hole. He was just a little too high on some stuff on the scrimmage components on Saturday. But, he knows what he's doing. I just like to see him be more consistent in his running style of not dancing, not going sideways. At some point you just got to go north and get what you can get. So I got to keep instilling that in him on a day-to-day basis. But I've seen things I like, and then there's some things that he's got to keep getting better at.
Thanks. Did anybody stand out during that scrimmage portion, possibly?
There was some good stuff. I don't think offensively it was to our standard for the whole scrimmage. 28 did some good things. Wyatt Missouri did a few things. He's been able to go out there more consistently. So it was probably just flat after that. Just not as consistent. When you take 2 days off, you got to be able to come back on Saturday and. The timing's still got to be able to be there. Obviously offensively it's a timing-based deal, so we got to keep going out here and grinding it out and getting more consistent in what we do. Today's practice, we came out flat, but then the last half of practice was really, really good. But unfortunately in the game, you can't come out flat because you can be down 28-0, and we can't be doing that. It's like a boxing match. We got to come out swinging. And so that's where the inconsistencies are, and no excuses. We just got to come out and put together 4 quarters instead of 2.5 quarters in a practice.
How do running backs kind of fall into that habit of trying to go side to side too much instead of north south?
Well, depending on the concept of what the play is. Our defense wants you to go lateral, okay, to the sideline. So we can't get caught up in letting them do that to us. So there might be an element of we go lateral toward the sideline for a half step, and then we got to get back north. And we just can't be bouncing stuff. We got to be able to get back north and run through the smoke. And, if it's 4 yards, we'll take 4 yards. But, our defense does a good job. They've done a good job this spring of making us go more sideways. We've just got to not let them do that to us.
So is that like a vision thing or a patience thing?
Well, it's all of it. It's patient. It's footwork starting with, first of all, it's pre-snap read, post-snap read, footwork, and then, seeing what's happening up front, and then, being able to, the thing about running back is I can't teach you vision. I can teach you what's happening up front, but you got to be able to have that in you where you can see things going to happen ahead. You almost got to be seeing things, before it happens. And, great running backs, I don't have to teach them that. And so, you got to be able to see that as a running back. And I can tell you what's going to happen, I think, but then you got to be a player.
How much difference does it make going through the recruiting cycle this spring to have a dozen or so official visits, some of which you can use on guys that want to make their decisions before the fall?
Oh, it's nice having those in the bank. We got a few spots left if we want to use even yet for this year. Last year we didn't. I think we had one left maybe because coming in we were limited, and then we had to hit on about an 80% success rate, which puts you in a bind right there. You can't really take chances on guys, but it's nice having a few that we can use for even this year, and then if we decide to use some for the next year, for the 2020 class, it's nice. We're so much farther ahead from that standpoint. We're not having to rush. We're not having to just be organized chaos from that end. So, even though we don't have as many commitments right now, we're not worried about that. We want the guys that want to be here, and we're on a lot of really, really good players. And once they come up, and I mean, it's to a T. When a guy comes up here, this is not what I envisioned. This is not what I was, because people tell them, oh, we think it's in the middle of a cornfield or this, that, and the other, and they come here and see all this great stuff we have, like, oh, this is a whole different deal. So we just got to get guys on campus, and once they see it, then it puts us in a lot better spot.
Do you structure an official a lot different in the spring here as you have maybe some of those? Obviously, you don't have a game day maybe to build it around, but is it a lot different or is it similar?
Well, you just don't have the game to build around. I mean, they're still going to get their academics, their weights, the nutrition, the life skills, the football piece of it, meeting the players, the camaraderie there. If we can use the spring game as an official visit weekend, if there's guys that we want to bring in for that. I mean, nobody in America has 92,000 people, I don't think, or very close. It's like a game day atmosphere, so we can use that in our toolbox. We want to get guys here so they see this and it's packed in a game day and all that. That's our goal. Some guys want to come in the summer and they make summer decisions, so you got to make a decision on, okay, do we want to deal with a guy that's going to do that, or live with our chances of waiting to the fall. So there's that kind of that cat and mouse game with that, just to figure out a game plan when we get those kids.
You said that there's a couple spots you guys can use for this year, even if you wanted. Have you identified, a position, if there was a guy that fit a need?
I probably won't say that, but I mean, anybody that can help our football team, both sides of the ball, that go through the through the checklist of everything we're looking for. I think we're open to that, both sides of the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
How's Wandell and Miles Jones? Guys are kind of doing a couple different things. How do they look this year?
Good. They've been both kind of banged up a little bit, which has limited them at times. But the thing is, they know what they're doing. The biggest thing, they know what they're doing, and can they, do the technique within each play? And I think we've seen that. Just when you get a little banged up, it's hard. It's hard because there's no rest to be able to get fully healed. So you just got to kind of grind through it. But we got 5 more practices left, or 4 in the spring game. Then they had the summer to build themselves back up and get ready for fall camp. But sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, and I mean that you definitely can see where those guys that'll definitely help us and give us some multiplicity of things they can do.
You guys are working in some new linemen. How's that whole operation going from your perspective, the blocking and the guys kind of getting used to the new guys in there?
Good. Well, I think being an old lineman is the hardest position on the team, and Coach G and Coach Verducci do a great job of those guys. So they, we're mixing and matching, moving guys around a little bit just to kind of find, as we go through the 5 best linemen through the spring. So there's, the nice thing about spring is you can experiment a little bit, but on the other hand, you want continuity as well. So they've been able to get continuity, but we've also been able to experiment a little bit. There's a lot of really good stuff. You can tell the weight room helped the guys, for sure. But I tell you what, our defensive line is doing really well. Coach Tuioti does a great job of those guys. I mean, they're getting to the edge. They're making plays. They're running to the ball. So it's iron sharpening iron. We're getting a good look every day. So that's exciting because you're only as good as the guys in the trenches, both sides of the ball. So we got to continue to get both those rooms, keep getting better, just like all of them. But those are the ones that are going to win the championship.